FIFA's now coming to the line. Where can he place that secondary Haas? And it's on the P1. It's a Haas front round lockout provisionally. Doctor now coming across the line, and he gets ahead of those Haas's by 4 attempts as a Ferrari on provisional. Can anyone else have their say about it? Gone to the moon now coming to the line. P4 for the Red Bull as Foxes has invalidated. I believe that's going to be everyone to set up as Koi there right at the end, putting his Williams in the P3. It's 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. The Haas driver gets away well. I've not got my telemetry. But as Doctor maintains the lead. Koi and P2. And there's contact behind. A little bit of a love tap to the rear Doctor by the Williams. That's caused a bit of a chain reaction. But seemingly most people get through turn 1 unscathed now. As the top 4 seems to stay relatively the same. We've got a little incident in the back. It looks to be Liam and Side have got tangled up together. But as Doctor maintains that P1 from Koi, and then the 2 Haas coming up in 2. Is Gone to the Moon going to have a little bit of a look now? Not quite close enough, but someone is going to have a look. Vaxi on Mill. That's not a place you usually go for an overtake, but Mill's going to keep the inside line, try and force Vaxi a long way around, and he maintains that P7. It looks like Matthew getting the elbows out with Jaibo behind. Alfie as well having a little bit of a look. They're getting very risky on lap 1 here. As we hop on board, is Koi going to be able to have a bit of a move into turn 6 here? I switched the inside, late to the inside. Or is very close look, there might be slight contact. Doctor gets the switch back though, maintains that P1. Eyes all over the rear beast, is not close enough as any moves happening behind. Alex and McLaren having a freeway back. Oh, there's contact as Jaipo on the outside gets his wheels hooked with the Williams of Phase Dom. As we Dom in P12, Jaipo gets that P11. Not quite sure what caused that contact, as there seemed to be a split of a gaggle of cars all caught up there. We've got Fox now looking for a move behind on Dom in the turn 4. Is he going to be able to have a little bit of Dom closes off that gap on the outside? It's not letting that happen. As in the turn 5, he's able to maintain. As Koi now gets up in the lead. Where has he got that done? I've been the exit at turn 5. And there's side by side down the bridge, and there's contact. Koi's forced the Ferrari off. That's not 2 cars don't really go into one down towards the bridge. And I'd imagine that's potentially going to appear in the steerage room as we've got yellow flags behind. I'm not too sure who's had a skill issue and gone off. Side getting up in the P15. Hastich goes off, and into turn 5 now, we've got the Alpine of Liam looking for that switchback. Yellow flags up ahead. Not too sure who's gone off. Liam not quite able to make that switchback stick on Hastich. But he's going to try and go side by side into the bridge. We've seen this happen last night. And again, contact! As the Hastich has turned in, Liam's lost an end plate there on the inside wall. Very lucky not to lose suspension. Hastich is in the wall again. It looks like contact with the rear of Skywalker. It just drifted out a little bit. And that is an unfortunate start to his race. As Hastich now saved himself down in P19. I'd imagine there is going to be wing damage. Koi ran away with it a bit. FIFA's now in the penultimate corner, up the inside. And what a move, late on the brakes. Clears the Ferrari, and that is great racing. Oh, both the Ferraris are in already. They're pulling the trigger early, getting that early pit stop. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to respond to the Rayford West strategy. We know he loves a good bit of shenanigans on the Ferrari pit wall. Either of these guys coming into the pits, they're going to stick it out. Matt obviously on the medium compound, and on the inside of Stroll corner, he gets so much more grip on the mediums, and it looks like Alfie's had a bit of a moment. I've seen him spin around. Has hit the Red Bull got drive, or has he got damage? As he comes into the pits, I think he might have picked up some front wing damage, potentially the in-plate though. But Keane now playing the Ultimate Team game. He's got his teammate out of the DRS. Alfie retired in the pits now. That's going to be an early end to his pit session. Pit session? Sprint session. My words do not work. As contact, Keane has gone off. It's contact there with Matthew. And that's seen Keane now drop the P4, and he's lost position to Foxes. As he's burning now, he's trying to be in that rear guard, trying to protect his teammate. On the inside turn 4. Oh, it's very close, a little bit of contact. And there's contact with Red Bull. Has gone to the moon. I'm not sure if that was part of the Aston incident. But he's now dropped down to P7. He's under pressure from Dom, who's on the inside. And that's going to leave him vulnerable to side FX in the V car behind. As side, still alongside the Red Bull and ahead of the Red Bull as Keane's out, and that's a virtual safety car. And that's a DNF on track as we see the Haas has found himself in the wall. I'm not sure if that's from an incident or if he's just had a skill issue as he's going to make that pit stop. Foxes now as well is going to be a huge beneficiary as Matt, oh my god, Matt has balled that he's took a 10 seconds under the VSC and he could have thrown away any advantage that he has just gained from that VSC coming out. I will try and keep that as well on where Koi is going to be in comparison to the McLaren and the Mercedes. Obviously Koi now on the main straight. We've got Matthew on the pit exit. It's going to be close as Koi now coming down towards turn 1 and he just about gets ahead. And he clears the McLaren. But oof. Is that the Ferrari's position? I think Matthew came out of the pit exit just ahead of the Ferrari. And he did. That's going to be Matt taking P2 from Doctor, or there's going to be shenanigans actually. Seems to be a bit of confusion there, and now as the safety or VSC ends, this could have played right into Koi's hands there. Let's go down towards the hairpin. Hey, we're going to look for, oh my word, side FX, late on the brakes on the inside. Does he make the move stick though? He's going to have a drag race on exit with Dom. Looks like the move just about gets ahead, but that's going to leave Foxes having a look to the outside. Can he make the switch back? He looks for it, but it seems to get a little bit of a tap from Golden the Moon and the Red Bull. Not quite able to make that switchback work at the end of the DRS strip. Dom now forced inside to try and be a bit defensive. And as it stands, Koi now is going to take that sprint win with Matthew in P2. Mill is going to be promoted to P2. Jaipo finishing up the sprint podium here. Aside in the P5, Dom P6, Fenny P7. As Doctor drops down, was that P16? Oh my lordy lord, that is not an ideal end of the sprint for the Ferrari driver at all. We're going to go down to the grid now, be interested to see the strategies, but it's 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Koi gets away well, but Millward on the inside is going to be under pressure now from Matthew in the turn 1. Not quite close enough. There's a little bit of contact behind between Side FX and Jaipo, the second Aston Martin. The side gets up into P4. With Jaipo down 2 positions off start. Not the ideal start. It looks like Yawn now trying to go up the inside of Spain. There's contact behind. It looks like Foxes or Skywalker. Wadham's in the wall with Liam, who once again has had a lap on incident. Liam not being such a good boy today, getting in multiple incidents on both lap ones. But Koi now maintaining that lead from Millward, who's still chasing that first Div 3 win, as Foxes is in a different postcode. I think he forgot where the circuit was there. Is he going to be able to make use of getting that rear wing open now? Obviously it's worth an extra 10 kilometers an hour versus the car ahead without the DRS. He's going to move the inside. Is Matthew going to be able to follow him through? Koi up the inside of turn 4, forcing the Aston the long way around. He's not able to make a stick. Matthew now look for the inside turn 5. Little bit of contact there. The McLaren might have drifted a bit too far wide, but Koi does maintain the position for now, although he is ghosted. I imagine he's not going to be too happy as he's looking to try and get back at the Aston Martin ahead. Matthew throwing the defensive line. We've got Jonborn looking for a move down towards the bridge section. He backs out and thinks better. He's going to start burning that Barry. Mill ahead, also burning. Is Mill going to be able to maintain that position? As Koi on late in the brakes the inside, and he gets to the outside first, but Mill on the switch back in turn 4 takes P1 back. Koi just goes too hot in the turn 4, too late on the brakes, trying to make that position up, and it's cost him as now Mill maintains that P1 once again of the race. There's no move in the turn 4 from Koi. Yes, now there's contact behind. I believe that's Yawn's gone back into the back of Dom, line the inside turn 5. Dom's trying to stick it with Saab on the outside race line, claims the inside for turn 6, and there's yells behind. Who is that? Is that Red Bull? That's going to be Gone to the Moon once again, getting caught up in another instant. No front wing damage for the Red Bull driver, but that now leaves with McLaren in P2, and we've got Haztich now has crashed in the final turn and is reversing to go into the pits. Not only is that pit cut, I'm not sure you're meant to go the wrong way around the track to enter the pits. It's a little bit shenanigans from the Cyber, who retires a bit. There's contact. Matthew goes into the back of Mill. He's on the inside for turn 4. Forces Mill a long way around. Forces him off the track though. Mill claims that position again in turn 5. Koi up the inside of turn 5. Gets moved on Matt. That's going to force him wide and leave him vulnerable side now. He's trying to have a look. Not quite able to hold it around the outside into turn 6. But Matt getting very, very aggressive and getting the elbows out. As Mill still getting that recharge. We've got yellows again as the Ferrari's gone around this time. Raven West, look away, mate. And that's going to be what looks like end plate damage on both sides for Vaxi as he drops the P17, and that's not what he wants to see. As Miller now going to have Koi going the long way around, trying to claim the inside, clears him before braking, and that's Koi now for the first time has properly claimed that race lead since lap 1. Skywalker now getting a little bit of a battle with Doctor and Phase Dom now in the turn 5. Skywalker claiming that P10, he's getting pushed around the corner. That's a great exit for Doctor. He's going to look to claim the inside before the bridge. We've seen him do this in the sprint with Liam. It didn't end too well, and he gets ahead, but oh, it's contact as Doctor tries to return to the rest of the line, doesn't realise that the Mercedes has still got front wing there, and that potential end plate damage. Both of them seem to have escaped with damage, but that could have been very costly for the Ferrari driver, maybe not entirely aware that the Mercedes was still alongside. We've got Keane as well in a battle with Liam 73-3, who's on the outside. He's going to take the risk to the line like a good boy, and he's going to try and get switched back. He's got no end plate, but can he get the better exit? Oh, Keane coming back across, trying to force him the long way around. As now ends the penultimate corner, they're both burning side by side, and Liam's going to claim that P15, or is he? Keane's still hanging it around the outside, and what about we're seeing between these two drivers? As Saab now ended the pit, Skywalker as well ended the pit, the first pit stops of the race, and it's a switch back out Stroll corner for Liam, who gets up in the P11 and claims that position on the Haas. Jaipo now, is he going to be able to have a look? He's burning. He's going to look the inside, moves to the outside last second, and he's been turned in. Oh, side has gone there because I'm not sure if he expected the late lunge from the Aston Martin. And they've both just had contact there at the apex. He's got pressure from Jan, pressure from the V-carb, and this could potentially cost Mill the chance at getting back to these guys ahead. As the gap now stands at 1.8, Matthew swapping positions with Koi ahead. Jan gets the position on Mill, claims the inside line at turn 4, goes off the track though, Mill able to reclaim before turn 5. Jan tries stick it, and looks like the V-carb looks to the outside, but there's not a chance. He could have been lit off on the brakes and not got put in the wall there. Society thinks better of it. Obviously he's going to have his teammate there, potentially as a rear gunner, to protect him from the McLaren and Saab behind. But it's all starting to kick off now. We're seeing the strategy really starting to take play. As discussed about pens in the chat, Jan gets past Mill again with the DRS. Mill does not let a go. Jan turning in, there's a little bit of contact, and Mill's starting to drift out a little bit. It's getting very close between the Alpine and the Aston Martin, but Matthew now is going to get that DRS. That's going to help him defend the position from Koi, but Koi has more ERS, and I imagine clearing Cal is going to play a huge part now, as Matthew up the inside clears Cyber, but now it's free wide. The Cyber's got off, and Koi backs out. That could have been disastrous, as Kalik is still fighting, even though he's an entire pit stop down. The Cyber's deciding to interfere with the front runner's battle. Not too sure what he has to gain here, but Koi up the inside into the bridge section. And what move from the Williams there. Obviously the Cyber much older tyres, and he takes advantage of that, forcing them wide, knowing he just can't maintain the speed around now. But these guys, Kalik still hasn't pit, so they're going to catch up to him as well. And with a pack this big, that could be massive. As through Stroll corner, Jan gets a great exit. Now going to be inside for turn 1. Almost forcing the Aston Martin off there. Very close racing between the two. On turn 3, Mill still hanging it around the outside. And there's wheel locking. They both start veering towards the wall, just about staying out of it. And Jan ends up slotting him in the P6. He's going to have the DRS though, where the Aston Martin's not going to be able to get that 10km/h benefit. Jan claims the inside. Mill's going to be under pressure now from the V-carb. And Jaipo goes for a late move, not quite able to make it on Spenny, but it's definitely putting him under a bit of pressure to keep him away from his teammate ahead. As we've got FIFA's the Skywalker now battling on turn 6, and there's contact there. Looks like the Mercedes might have just drifted wide a little bit. Kalik burning to try and maintain that P3 on track. Slide's going to use that DRS. He's going to clear him before the braking. Is Jan going to be able to follow him through? He looks to the outside, a little bit of contact. Maybe not quite alongside for the Alpine, but that's going to open the door for Mill on the turn 5, hanging it the long way around. And what a move from the Aston Martin. He's going to claim the inside for turn 6 now. And that's up in the P5, and that's claimed. Unless Young can get a better exit on the switchback, not quite. Now Jaipo and Spenny are going to go side by side into the bridge. Jaipo going a long way around, hangs it. He's going to claim the inside now as we get towards the bridge. And what move from the Aston, but that's going to leave Spenny now vulnerable to Saab. He's going to have a look. Of course he'll have a look, but he's not quite close enough. And FIFA's now trying to go around the outside. And everyone's getting super feisty now around this midfield pack. I'd imagine they're going to be looking almost entirely better at this point. Because down in turn 1, Jaipo goes for move, trying to clear Saab early, forces him off a little bit there. It looks like Calic has to take the run off, but he's still going to be maintaining that position now down towards turn 3. Jaipo's having to stay behind. Spenny now battling with Saab. Saab trying to keep the race in line with Spenny, imagine to maintain position. Jaipo now is going to get that 10 kilometers an hour. Can he make the move finally stick? As Young getting past Miller ahead, we've got Jaipo in the other Aston, manages to clear Cal. Cal goes for switchback though. I still find there's some sort of life in those mediums. Fair play to him. He's trying to make everything work to keep the positions, but now up in the turn 6, he's going to have to concede. I've made a lot of notes, and apparently I formatted them in a way that confuses even myself. As instant, oh, and that's Saab. And this could be disastrous for McLaren's OCC. It looks like he's gone off on the entry to the bridge section. Maybe a bit of contact there with, I believe it was FIFA's he's battling with. And that's going to see him pick up the left end plate damage. Completely missing that left hand side. Milner under pressure out Stroll corner. Is Spenny going to have a look down towards turn 1? He's burning that overtake. Moves the inside. Is he close enough? And down the inside in the turn 1. It's going to be late on the brakes. Going to claim the inside for turn 2, and what moves Spade, but Mills not letting it go. He moves the inside, goes for switchback, gets the overtake on the outside for turn 3. Can he get the better exit with the racing line? He's just not able to hold it. And Spenny now up in the P5, but Mill again, better exit, switches back again, and now down towards turn 4. Who's going to keep the position on the outside is the Aston Martin Mill. And again another switchback, and he does it up in the P5 in the turn 5, and oh my word. He is just switching sides left and right. Spenny just can't keep up. In the penultimate corner, not seeing him drop out DRS. Is he going to get the DRS? Oh, Mills round! Mills round! No! And he spun again. He spun trying to catch it. And now it's going to be disastrous for the Aston Martin TP. He's tried to go in too hard for his Stroll corner. And Mill now died in the P9. He's fallen out the pack, and that's going to leave him fighting the Ferrari. As Spenny now looking to the inside, but he just can't get that better exit out of the hairpin. He does get a second phase of that launch though on the outside. He's going to claim the racing line. Yawn's still on the inside though, later on the brakes, and he keeps the position, but he's going to have a worse exit than Spenny. Now down towards the penultimate corner, he's going to try and force him as close to the wall as he can. Spenny on the inside now for the second to last turn now, clears him before the braking zone, and finally up in the P3 for the V-carb. But now it's Young to be able to have a look at him to try and regain that position. Out of Stroll corner, we'll see if he can get better exit. A little bit of a slide for the V-carb. Young now on the outside. Is he going to be able to make it work? Down in turn 1. But Spenny, with the better straight line speed, just about able to keep it ahead. And now Side's going to have a go. And Jaipo, with all this battling, has been brought back into this. Well, he's more than brought back into this. Side makes a mistake. Jaipo up the inside of turn 3, and he claims that P5. As now Young, with the DRS over Spenny, is being pushed wide as much as Spenny legally can. But he goes off. The track's just too wet off the racing line, and that sees him find himself in a runoff. Spenny able to reclaim that P3, and it is all going down to the wire. I know, as I've a certain Benja Warriors went, oh no! As Spenny, there's contact now between Jaipo and Spenny as well. Spenny just not having enough grip at all. Surely it's going the intermediate. As Spenny's now got damage, and it's yellow flags. Just as Baldy was cheering for FIFA's, he's found himself in the wall in the bridge section. He couldn't handle the wet weather. And the poor Mackham is distraught in the chat, and now he has more parity than Side. Can he make a move into the penultimate corner? It's his last chance to make anything if he wants this P4 on track. He's burning it all. Side's going to go defensive. Can he claim the racing line though? He's not going to be close enough. And Side on the middle of the track. Has he made a mistake on the braking? He has not. But he's going to be slower there on exit. Can Jaipo make something in the final turn? It's just not going to be close enough. Side FX claims that P4 on the track. But Jaipo just about losing out. Obviously potential for that 10-second to get removed. And XRS Matthew once again picking up his 5th win in the season and setting an XRS Division 3 record and equaling an XRS overall record for a main race win rate across the season. So that's going to see him equal the record of 50% held by Sleek Mover, and that caps off a wonderful season for himself and for the McLaren outfit. Obviously, I believe they've now wrapped up the OCC after Ferrari's poor result, maybe.